White Fatalis and the Crimson Demon are no more. I'm happy to say, pledge complete. Welcome back, Classic Crew, to the final journal, potentially final journal, in my Monster Hunter 4U journey to slay every Fatalis in the game. And I'm happy to say they are done. And I'm also happy I did not pledge to do these solo. Now, I have attempted all of them solo. Some I have beaten solo. Some I have done multiplayer. But I have done all of them. There are 6 Fatalises in Monster Hunter 4U for those who may be curious, including 4... Wait, actually, there may be more than 6. There are 4 Crimson Fatalises. There are 2 blacks and 1 white. So that is 7. But before I get into the Fatalis encounter and specifically what it was like to fight my very first white Fatalis, we got to go over the side quests. I left off on the scroll grind, and that has been the biggest limiter to completing this pledge, grinding for scrolls. And I am so glad I changed my schedule. So remember, when I first pledged this game over a year ago, I used to stream once a week, 4 hours a week, every Thursday. That's how I progressed, and that's how I've been doing these streams for all my pledges for the last 3 years. But over the last, I would say, 2-3 months, I have been playing this game 3 times a week. That's 12 hours a week, Tuesday, Thursday. I'm not playing anything else just to get through this. And it still took this much time to get through the pledge because that final scroll grind is just so long. Now, I actually calculated. It took me about 40 hours from the moment I unlocked the endgame scroll grind to actually unlock Crimson Fatalis, which to me, that's a lot. But I'm sure to a lot of Monster Hunter veterans, they're all like, wait a minute, I spend 400 hours in my game. I spend 1,000 hours into my game. What's 40 hours? In that context, yeah, I guess it's not that much. Now, one thing you'll notice is on my icon, I have a silver crown next to my name. I actually didn't get a gold crown because I haven't unlocked the very final scroll, which is scroll number 11 called Monster Hunter, where you fight a marathon of 5 monsters. I've already done the quest in multiplayer. I've completed it. So if I can just unlock the scroll, I'll get my little gold crown. And in hindsight, had I known this entire mechanic, I think that may have been the nicer pledge, to just pledge to get the gold crown next to my name. I feel, I don't know, that's more of a, it takes you through the entire game, all the content, which is oftentimes what I want to do. So anyways, last time I was on scroll number 4 with Chaotic Gormagala. I've unlocked all of them and beaten all of them in multiplayer. I did not solo any of these because, man, they're just so hard. The Shah de Lamadeur, I talked about him a little bit last journal, but I've actually gone back and fought him with different people in multiplayer who had maybe less optimal sets, which made me actually understand the fight a little bit more and appreciate more what he's doing. And I have to say, with the Shah de Lamadeur, I really like these big hooks he has on his body. So when he slithers around, you can actually get caught by the hooks, but you can also destroy them, which is very satisfying. Also, I've learned that anytime he's glowing red anywhere, that's where you want to hit it. And it's a lot more like hit here, which I like that part. I still don't like the fact that he's super bouncy, and it's still not a fight I would ever want to solo because it is just super grindy. He has a lot of HP and there's no fun to be had there. Scroll number 6 is the Apex Rajang. You guys know how I feel about the Angry Monkey. I hate the Angry Monkey. Speaking of Angry Monkey though, there are a bunch of side quests. So I did make a little side bet with Gajira about if one of us dies in a quest, we have to do something dumb. Anyways, I ended up carding, dang it. And so he challenged me to do the Naked and Afraid. That's not what it's called, but anyway, fighting Apex Rajang in the arena naked. And luckily it wasn't do the quest and win, it was just attempt your best. And so I went in, I lasted 5 minutes. He still killed me. It was very one-sided, but hey, lasting 5 minutes against that thing is an achievement in and of its own. There was also another custom quest that our good friend Immortal brought to the fight, and that was a Rajang on a boat. And I have to say it was pretty clever, and I think this was actually designed by one of the mods, Miniguy, and Miniguy tends to be fair. I like it. So this was a fun quest. It was just really crowded because there were conchus everywhere. It was just kind of funny to fight a monkey on a boat. Honestly, I think Capcom should lean more into those silly types of quests. That's about all the funnies with the monkey. After that, we unlocked an Enrage Ucanlos quest. It's basically the same quest as regular Ucanlos, but he's constantly enraged, which means he hurts a lot more. That was probably the hardest quest, even in multiplayer, to finish. We did it once, and we've never attempted it again because we just kept dying so much. It was just too hard. After that, there's another Gogmazios quest that unlocks at scroll number 9, and I don't really understand the difference between this one and the other one. It feels the same, so I can't tell you what the difference is. Finally, the Crimson Demon. Crimson Fatalis is what unlocks at scroll number 10. And before I get into this fight, I have to share with you another little side quest related to this, which is around honing, weapon honing, and trying to unlock the best, strongest charge blade for the game. I've been using the, what's it called? The purple, what is it called? The Garuda Sedition, which is dropped from whatever, the purple bird. And that thing was pretty good, but people were saying actual strongest charge blade in the game is the Cetus blade, which is called, and I love it, the Decitus. Freaking awesome name. And to get that, you have to farm Devil Joe, and then you trade your Devil Joe parts for Cetus parts because Cetus isn't in the game. So I did that. I upgraded it all the way to the Cetus Regalia, which is a freaking awesome name. And I was looking at these two charge blades. I was like, wait a minute. I don't actually think the Cetus Regalia is better. Like when you look at everything it has to offer. So let's put them side by side. Hopefully the editor can do something to make this visually pleasing. The Cetus Regalia, its full attack, it's 1080 versus Garuda Sedition's 1044. And then the Cetus Regalia is a water-based weapon versus the Garuda Sedition, which has no elemental. The elemental stuff, you know, I don't quite get it. I think you do extra damage against monsters that are weak to it. How many things are weak to water? Not that many that I actually fight that often. Now, the Cetus Regalia has white sharpness, whereas the freaking Sedition has purple sharpness +1, which doesn't really do much. So finally, on the affinity front, the Cetus Regalia is 20%, whereas the other one that I'm currently using is 35%. Overall, the Garuda just, I think, tends to have more damage output in the long run, just because it's doing more damage on crit, it's sharper, and it gives me a little bit more room to slot in other things, whereas the Cetus Regalia, I have to sacrifice more of my decoration slots to try and get it to the same level as the Garuda Sedition. So with that said, I ended up abandoning the Cetus Regalia only for the final guild quest before I unlocked Crimson Fatalis. I got a rusted weapon, which was a Decitus, which was super powerful, which I was like, oh my goodness, did the game just give me like the weapon to slay Crimson Fatalis? Now let's pause here and talk about this whole rusted weapon mechanic, which is a part of the game I actually want to cover in this journal because I didn't touch this system at all over my whole journey. And in fact, a couple weeks ago, on my own personal time, I started really looking to understand what guild quests are, how to farm rusted weapons, how to restore them, how to get like absolute like raw weapon power and armor out of it. And it's a really cool system, but it's so grindy. You know I'm never going to touch this, but let me explain it. So we have these expeditions that exist. Out of those expeditions, if you do them, like you just go out and you hunt monsters in expedition, you'll eventually get guild quests. Those guild quests come at a certain level, whatever, it's random. Then assuming you get a quest you like, you then need to level it up to a maximum of 140 so that you get better drops from that quest. And then once you grind it, you have to mine and complete the quest multiple times to win rusted armor parts and rusted weapons. Once you have that and you find something you like, you then need some abrasives to restore them. And then you have this whole like side aspect of the game where you can upgrade them. You don't upgrade these weapons like you normally do at the man. You got to go to Hearth and you get a dwarf to upgrade them for you. And you basically do that and repeat it until you get a super awesome weapon. Everything is randomized, but this is the way that you can get the most ultimate weapon and armor sets, which I have zero appetite to do. It's just such a big time sink. But at the time, if you had no other Monster Hunter games to play, it was actually a pretty cool endgame mechanic, I think. Just really painful on the time. So anyways, I ended up with, like I said, a Decitus. It could go up to a max of 1080. It had a 480 elemental damage instead of 310, so significantly more. However, it was a hidden elemental thing, which I'm not sure what that means. I think you need a skill to allow for the water damage to take part, which needs more decoration slots. And it had a higher sharpness of purple, and it had pre-slotted things that I couldn't unslot. So overall, even though it was still better than my base Cetus Regalia, I did the calculations. I'm like, I think I'm still better off with my Garuda Sedition blade. And so I stuck with that. So with that said, I finally got into Crimson Fatalis, and I have to say, this boy is garbage. I really do not. I tried soloing him twice. Happy to say I lasted 15 minutes. It was actually an intense fight. There was some good stuff that happened, and I dunked him in a surprise way. I didn't even know you could do this on a Fatalis, but I hit him as he was about to like fly. And so he was like, I don't know, he was like doing this weird animation on the ground. I was like, what is he doing? I've never seen this in all of our multiplayer hunts. And so people are like, you knocked him out of the sky. And it's like, oh, awesome. It was really cool. What I really don't like about this fight is mostly the arena. That is the worst thing. So I am constantly on fire. He's standing, first of all, Fatalis is oftentimes standing on lava, which prevents you from getting close to him. Or if you do get close to him, you're just taking damage. And then there's like these like lava things that just come out of the ground and knock you over and hurt you. So the Fatalis fight itself is actually quite manageable, but the amount of damage you are constantly taking from the elements and just for existing and breathing is so ridiculous. Like, I was going through potions after potions for everything. I did find the good opening, which is when he's actually about to do like his hot air attack. If you're behind him, there's a big opening there where you can actually like drop an Aid or a Said on him. Like I said, I tried soloing this and I was like, this is just really depressing. It is so hard. And like, my pledge is not to solo these Fatalises. It was to defeat them. And so I had already done it in multiplayer. You know, I tried it with solo. I gave it my best run just to see what it was. Could I actually do it? Maybe with a lot of practice, but I just don't have the patience for that kind of arena. And then there was a funny cold drink incident, which is funny. That's actually what I wrote it. Cold drink incident. So there's while doing it in multiplayer, and we went into a Crimson Fatalis fight as a whole team, and I forgot my cool drinks because I was distracted talking about probably chicken burgers or something. And I'm running around and my health is just going down. I'm like, I forgot cold drinks, and everybody's laughing, ha ha ha. And so Boomwolf is like trying to save me, and he offers me a cold drink right in the middle of the fight, and I run to him, grab the cold drink it, dodge because Fatalis was coming after us, and we lost Boomwolf. He died to, I think, a meteor that hit him, and everyone's like, that's Jay's fault. Like, what are you doing? I'm like, hey, I survived. We were right next to each other. Why couldn't he get out of the way? I had the time to drink up my smoothie and get out. Then I got into White Fatalis, which I have to say, way better fight. This one just is probably the best of the Fatalis fights. So it was my first time encountering him. Had no idea what to expect. Quickly learned he's kind of like a lightning based Fatalis, which I didn't like because my armor is actually very weak to lightning. So I was like, oh no. The music is epic, and people pointed out that it sounds like the lyrics are saying like, get me hot fish, which once you hear it, you're like, that song's ruined. Now all you can hear is get me hot fish. There's actually siege weaponry that you can use because you're back in Castle Strayed, so I was able to use the Dragonair like 3-4 times, which makes me feel even stronger on this thing. There's a part where he gets like supercharged and it looks like he has a reactor going. That makes his skin even harder, which I hate that mechanic because then how do I hit him? I basically have to like just wait until he stops doing that so I can start wailing on him again. I got to dunk on him as well, so I got another hit where he's about to like launch and I hit him right on the head with an Aid or a Said, and he came down flopping like Crimson Fatalis. This was like back-to-back fights, so I got 2 dunks, so I felt like a freaking pro doing that. And overall, the fight lasted, I actually made it to the 35-minute fight. It's only a 35-minute window, so I repelled him. I didn't actually slay him. But the hunt is slay or repel, and nobody disagreed. That's a win. I got the full quest rewards. I got the victory music. I got the chat approving of my my victory. Yeah, this is probably my favorite Fatalis in this game. White Fatalis, Black Fatalis, and then the Crimson one. If he wasn't in that stupid arena, he would be probably more manageable. But otherwise, he's just like, BS. I say BS a lot on this channel. That is BS. Crimson Fatalis in that arena, full BS. And the other thing is I did finish the Guildmarm's quest line, so I got her approved into the academy, and she was sad. Like, I thought I was going to lose her for a moment after killing the Chaotic Gore, but turns out she spent all her money hiring me to kill these monsters to get her into the academy. She can't afford to go to the academy anymore, so Guildmarm, you're stuck with me. And that's how it's going to stay. So I've got one more journal where I really want to try to learn guard point because I still don't know how to do it, and I finished my pledge. And then after that, vacation to Final Fantasy XIV, and finally, we're going to be starting GU with a whole new pledge in a couple months. I'll keep you updated on that. But otherwise, thanks for watching, and until next time, keep it classy.